A live look at the rising Westchester's permanent memorial to the local victims of the 9/11 terror attacks. Tonight, special live coverage of the county's September 11th candlelight ceremony. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Tim Cassidy here at the Rising in Valhalla. After a day of somber observances at Ground Zero and all across this nation, tonight, Westchester will pay tribute to the 111 victims from this county who died during the worst terror attack on U.S. soil. Breaking news here on News 12. This is the aftermath. A New Jersey transit train crashes in Hoboken with passengers from the Hudson Valley on board. Thanks for watching News 12 and News12.com. I'm Tim Cassidy. Here's what we know right now. That train came into the Hoboken station at a high rate of speed and hit a wall as well as barriers. Take a look at some cell phone video and photos of the Pascack Valley commuter train that crashed at the Hoboken station at 8:30 this morning. This happening just before 12 o'clock this afternoon. In case you're just joining us now, take a look at this unbelievable video coming in from Chopper 12. A crane collapsing, a construction crane that was working on the new Tappan Zee Bridge collapses onto the old Tappan Zee Bridge. And as you can see there, it cut across all of the lanes, northbound, southbound, Rockland bound, Westchester bound. Everything is closed at this time because, as you see, that crane collapsed into pieces across both of those spans. You're watching News 12 and News12.com. I'm Tim Cassidy, in tonight for Suzanne Colucci. We just had to move this show outdoors, outside. We could not be in the studio for the beginning of this show. After a long week of dreariness and rain, we said, you know what? Let's take advantage of this beautiful spring evening. We were just dying to see the sun. It was great to see it today. And did you see what happened up in space today? Something pretty interesting in front of the sun. You're watching News 12 and News12.com. I'm Tim Cassidy, in tonight for Suzanne Colucci. Yonkers police still on the scene tonight at number 2 Sunnyside Drive in the southwest part of the city. They're there investigating a deadly shooting that took place there this afternoon. Hundreds of residents turning out in full force tonight for National Night Out events throughout the Hudson Valley. The event at Andrus Field in Yonkers helped to bring community members and police officers together during these challenging times. News 12's Carol Wilkinson reports. And the animals that are looking for homes will be at the walkathon. This is Maggie. She was in a shelter for years down south. Now she's here in New York, and she is looking for a home. And let me just tell you, this girl is so sweet. Here's what you need to know about the walkathon. It is this Saturday, rain or shine, at FDR State Park. That's off Crampon Road in Yorktown Heights. Bring the kids, bring the dogs, come by. There's going to be lots of things happening there, and support the Westchester SPCA, who does so much good for so many animals every year. And back here, taking another look at Maggie, we just want to get her a home. The Westchester SPCA, gracious enough to ask me to launch the walk on Saturday. I will be there with my rescue dog, Jake, so if you come by, please come by and say hello. We're in Briarcliff Manor. Tim Cassidy, News 12. Back to you.
So nice, Tim.
As you can hear, the party here still continues. Thousands of Hillary Clinton supporters. We're here tonight at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Hillary Clinton choosing to make this historic announcement and this historic night back here in Brooklyn.
The message of hope wasn't just contained to the walls of Calvary Baptist Church. After prayers, they took their message out here to the streets of White Plains and marched to the statue of Dr. Martin Luther King outside the county courthouse. The firefighters were responding to an emergency call. They had just left their own company right down the street here, about 75 yards, when the accident happened. Well, Scott, it certainly was an emotional ceremony here at Ground Zero. Pope Francis wanting to show the world that different religions can come together peacefully. Certainly has, Suzanne. As you can see behind me, the Tappan Zee Bridge looking so much more picturesque than it did this afternoon. A nightmare for commuters when that crane came crashing down, barely missing passing motorists.
It really is nothing short of a miracle that nobody was hurt.
Governor Andrew Cuomo echoing the sentiment of many after a construction crane performing pile driving work for the new Tappan Zee Bridge collapsed onto the old Tappan Zee Bridge. It happened just before noon Tuesday, smashing across the Westchester and Rockland-bound lanes. 3 drivers suffered minor injuries. The crane operator had to be checked out at a nearby hospital, as well as 1 bridge worker.
One worker, the most serious, was the one that appeared to have been struck by the crane while he was working in the well. Another worker, when the crane fell backwards into the well. They were the the two most serious, but again, as I'm told by the hospital, they were not serious or life-threatening injuries.
The entire 3-mile span was closed for 5 hours. Hundreds of drivers were stuck in place until they were able to be turned around through the barricade. In the afternoon, the Army Corps of Engineers could be seen inspecting the bridge, and just after 5, they gave the go-ahead to reopen all northbound lanes. By late evening, all but one southbound lane had also reopened. The southernmost lane on the Westchester-bound side suffered the most damage. Part of the guardrail was knocked out, and the weight of the crane smashed a hole right through the decking.
It is what I would call significant damage. It's clearly visible. It's several feet. And there is also some structural damage to that lane underneath the bridge.
And that southernmost lane will remain closed during tomorrow morning's commute, so something to keep in mind if that is part of your route, and no word on how long it'll take to make those repairs. More than 200 miles north of the Hudson Valley, just south of Ithaca, sits nature at its best. Thousands of acres of protected forests surround rolling meadows, dotted with evergreen groves.
This is where she is.
But it's what's beneath this pristine landscape where this story lies.
This is a stone my sister picked out.
In September 2014, Ken Zesserson's stepmother made a final wish to sleep eternally among this beauty, without embalming, without a casket, and without a headstone.
She had been wrapped in Irish blankets because she was Irish. And so we lowered her into the grave. And then the people of Green Springs had cut these beautiful green branches, which we laid on her, because this is all about the earth and being green.
The green burial, an alternative to traditional burials, was offered here at Green Springs Natural Cemetery Preserve in Newfield, New York. This is another burial area here at Green Springs, and as you can see from some of the plots, they are really simple. This is Jennifer. She chose just to put her first name on the nameplate, and that's really what these green cemeteries are all about. They're simple, they're more affordable, and they're environmentally friendly.
Completes that natural cycle of life.
Jen Johnson is the burial coordinator at Green Springs.
I don't think there's ever been a burial when people didn't come up after and say to me, this is exactly where they belong.
This is no coffin? You want one. It's more natural this way.
In 2004, HBO's 6 Feet Under was one of the first programs to examine the concept of a green burial. And yet today, only a handful of states in this country offer the green option.
The more I read about it, the more I realized it truly made sense as a burial choice.
Carrie Potter Kotecki is looking to bring a green cemetery to Rockland County.
Green cemetery to me is the best way to return to the earth.
Kotecki points to the fact that the land in a green cemetery is not cleared, and that's why this land can be used for other events. In fact, a wedding just took place here at Green Springs.
Land preservation has been a challenge in our community. It hasn't been a priority, but this could be an answer, as well as providing an option for environmentally conscious people.
Kotecki's voice may be larger than most. She uses her monthly radio program to show Rocklanders they have a choice. And there are other options besides being wrapped in blankets, like the biodegradable pine casket or the EcoPod, where your body becomes the root of a new tree. Also available, the Infinity Burial Suit, a shroud that helps the body decompose. Those who are dying to be green believe the green choice just makes sense.
When you think about how much effort we put into teaching our kids about recycling those soda cans, you drive a more environmentally friendly car, well, why stop there?
Okay, well, see you later, Pat.
Because of his stepmother's decision, Ken, his wife, and father will also be buried at Green Springs, the Green Way.
It's just more natural.
Here, they follow one simple motto: save a forest, plant yourself, renew, sustain, endure.
This is the ultimate recycling you can do.
And here are some other things I learned about traditional burials. In 1 year alone in North America, 800,000 gallons of formaldehyde, which is a known carcinogen, are used in the embalming process. 4.6 million single-family homes could be built with the amount of wood we're using for caskets that are just then placed into the ground. And 4,800 miles could be driven with the same amount of energy it takes just to cremate one person. Green burial could also save you some green. If you go without the embalming and without the casket, it could save you thousands of dollars. We are here in Sleepy Hollow's green section, the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, offering this as an alternative to traditional burials since 2009. Now, Kerry Potter Kotecki is looking to bring about 30 acres of land to Rockland County. She's hoping to get that for this green cemetery idea. We'll keep you posted on that. I know that death is not something that people like to talk about, but we figured we would present you with the facts, especially with this being Earth Day. At Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, Tim Cassidy, News 12.